Hey, Chupa. Hey, Chupa. Hey, Chupa, you want to play some video games? You want to play some video games? I take no heed to your answer. Let's go play video games, okay? You are gonna play video games today, and you're gonna like it, because you are ugly as frick.
Rated PG-13.
The Nintendo Entertainment System was released in the year 1985 and was considered to be one of the greatest video game consoles ever made at the time.
It also completely crushed Atari. If you had one of these back in 1985 when they first came out, you probably in the modern day may refer to it either as the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, or just simply the Nintendo, as it was Nintendo's first console ever. Let's check out the specs that we have on this console. So you have your original Nintendo. Let's check out the specifications. Alright, firstly, you may have noticed this right here. This is just a vent for some reason. If it like overheats, that's where all the heat goes, like a heat sink. At the front, there are two controller ports for player 1 and player 2. There were accessories where you'd plug it into the player 1 slot, and there'd be a giant brick that came out where you could plug in multiple controllers. Over here you have your power button, a little light here that tells you if, like, it's a proper NES game that's been read by the console, and a reset button, which hence the name, resets the frickin' console. Right here is probably something you might be asking, is a little flap. You open that up, and this is where you put the cartridge. It's really dark in here, so you can't really see in there. Also, it's kind of dirty. Over at the side, you have audio and video outputs. Over at the back, you have the AC adapter, channel 3 or channel 4, and the RF switch. We're going to be using RF because I have a modern television. On the bottom, you have a bunch of useless turdiness, except for down here, which I think is an expansion port of some sort, but I've never seen this on YouTube anywhere. All in all, I think the NES is a great console. Let's check out the actual technical specs, which are: 1. It's an 8-bit console. 2. It was definitely a more powerful 8-bit console than the Atari 2600. 3. It's bigger than my dog. 4. It's better than the Atari 2600 because it's white, black, and gray. 5. With these colors, you pull off the classic, oh my gosh, this box looks absolutely amazing, yet so simple effect. And 6. You have outstanding cartridges. I crap you not, this is real. Compared to my dog, it's bigger than his head. However, a very common question asked is why were the Atari cartridges smaller than the Nintendo cartridges? I don't have an Atari cartridge right now. Because I don't have an Atari, sadly. But, the full answer actually lies a few years back. You see, in the year 1983, Nintendo released the Famicom, which basically we now know as the Japanese version of the NES. And if you saw in that picture, the cartridges were rather small. In fact, the whole console of the Famicom, which stands for Family Computer, actually was about the same size as what we now call the NES Mini, which, by the way, I think should... But now you are probably thinking, why are the cartridges in Japan smaller than America? Is there racism? Well, I think not. Okay, because Japan, if you're watching this, you guys, oh my gosh, you guys are amazing, actually. What happened was, when Nintendo wanted to sell the NES in America, they didn't want it to be a top loader like, say, the Atari 2600. Because they thought it looked childish, or a child's toy. So what they did was they took the Famicom cartridges and they made them much, much bigger. In fact, if you open this cartridge up, the technology only goes to up about yay. So all of this is empty and simply made for the styling of a front loader type of computer. What's weird though is that on the Famicom, you had a lot of accessories that you didn't have on the NES, like, for example, a built-in modem, because the internet was a thing, apparently, in 1983. You had the likes of a keyboard and mouse that could plug into the expansion port, which they had one of. But the controllers were pretty cool. I mean, they looked a lot like NES controllers, but they were golden and they were pretty crappily cool, because one of them had a volume slider and a microphone. Also, 1983, if you're a real video game nerd, that year will sound familiar, as the Famicom was released in the same year that video games died. And whose fault was it? Yeah, that's true. That's an absolutely true fact. Atari released E.T. for the Atari 2600, and everything just went crippity-crap downfall. So enough with me blabbering on with some heavy metal in the background. Let's actually get to some gameplay. Actually, before we start, I need to say that this cartridge, you see it has the original Mario Bros. And the original Duck Hunt. Sadly, I can't play Duck Hunt because you need a CRT television. I have one, but sadly it's left at another location and I don't have it presently. So I'll probably do a separate review of Duck Hunt. So stay aware of that in 2 weeks, maybe? A week? I'm really not sure. My schedule is pretty derp. But anyways, let's get to hooking this thing up.
A few moments later.
Alright, so you have the power plug right there. You're simply going to plug that in. Simple enough. You're then going to take the RF cable and you're going to plug it into the back of the console where it says RF switch, because that's where an RF plug goes.
One reason why you probably don't see a lot of NESs around, Nintendo Entertainment Systems, one reason you probably don't see them is because of the way they were built. The way you would insert the cartridge, the sort of mechanism inside would start to bend and break, which is why I have to take very good care of my NES, as well as the fact that it's very hard just to get a game started, as we will show with this montage. Next we have the controller, which is very familiar to people who own an NES Classic. You have a very simple D-pad, which I think was, it was invented by Nintendo. Select, start, that's B and that's A. No shoulder buttons, and that's all you get. Now all we have to do is plug it into controller port 1. Hey, look, it's Morrow. Okay, so yeah, as I said before, we are not going to be reviewing Duck Hunt because I don't have a CRT television on hand. Also, if I hit down, oh, it works. Well, usually you hit select and it goes down, which it does do, but I didn't think the D-pad would work due to the fact that this thing is from the 80s. But another thing that you will never get used to, unless you're me, frick. Well, let's do Mario Bros. I mean, so hitting down doesn't do anything. Hitting select is you select 1 2-player game. Hitting A doesn't do anything. Hitting start will begin the game. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, we need to, you guys need volume. I also happen to know where all the secrets are. Pressing and holding B on the controller will make you run. We in focus? And already we have finished level 1. Now level 2 takes us to Undertale, I think. Also, these are the only power-ups. Thankfully, it's time to show off a little secret that's in the game. So let's say you don't want to actually play through a lot of crap. Well, I'll get to show you some cheat codes in a second. This first one isn't a cheat code, actually. It's a built-in game mechanic. I missed that. And you'll notice I'm not running. That's because there's a lot of input lag with my smart TV. So, also you don't get a lot of input lag with the CRT. So you go over the pipe, and you find the warp zones. I don't think these are in the new Mario Bros. Games because people are idiots. Immediately warping me to World 4, where we get to meet El Popo, I guess. Thankfully, I have memorized the stage. Frick you. And there we go, we're done with the level. Now we're going underground again. Now you'd think that the next warp zone would be up there again. Well, I'm going to tell you, it is not. In fact, I think we're right near it. Gotta be extra careful as you're a tall person and could wreck this all together. Oh, frick. And there we go. Fine. And here we have the next warp zone, warping us all the way to World 8. And frick.
What? What? What?
What? Ah. Oh, frick. Thankfully, I know a cheat code. If you are on the start menu just after you died and you yell, "Oh no, I don't want to continue," press and hold A. Well, make sure on the home menu, press and hold A and start World 8-1. It won't actually teleport you to 8-1, it'll... Dude, what? Sadly, there goes all the memory. So, yeah. Let's try and get through World 1, the regular way. That was not supposed to happen. Well, oh, what do you know? Oh. I think we've had enough. So, as a summary, original Nintendos are getting very expensive. In fact, I got mine for around 64 bucks, and that included a game, a controller, both AV and RF cables, power cord, a game, and the zapper. But on the internet, you can get just the console for something like 90 bucks. It's too expensive. I'm pretty sure the NES top loader is either more expensive or less expensive. Hopefully the second one. And don't even think about the NES, the Famicom top loader. I'm pretty sure that thing is rare as frick. Yeah, so if you guys want an NES, get a Famiclone. They're cheap, they're rubbish, but they play Nintendo games. as well as the fact that most of them play Famicom cartridges, like the FC Compact. So, in conclusion, if you're a dedicated collector, what do you think? He says yes. Get a Nintendo Entertainment System if you're a dedicated collector. If you're not a dedicated collector, however, why get one? If you just want to play Nintendo games, either completely do blasphemy and play an emulator, or get yourself a Famiclone. The Famiclones, I'm pretty sure they're all either in Japanese or are about as well translated as Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal. The cartridges, they're dirt cheap, unless you go to Game Hut. But they're dirt cheap. They are amazing. All the games are fantastic. Duck Hunt, Punch-Out, Final Fantasy, The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda? That game is a blockbuster hit. Who doesn't know about Zelda? Sheltered people. So yeah, guys, unfortunately I have no money left, so I can't review Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy, Punch-Out, Contra 2, Mario Bros. 2, Mario Bros. 3, all the homebrews, Pokemon Yellow bootlegged, all the Retrobit homebrews and Game Genies, the Game Genie, the Splatoon homebrew, the Windows 95 homebrew, the Mario Kart homebrew, the Mario World homebrew, the Mario World 2 homebrew, the Mario 4 Space. So let me get this straight. You don't want to play video games. Whatever. Yeah! Hello there, Internet peoples. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Luke Does Gaming. If you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a like. If you guys want to recommend anything for the next video, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you all in the next video.